we are very happy that you have come back you recovered from COVID-19 and you are at home now. You must have gone through, a difficult time and challenges throughout your experience. So would you please give us some idea or give us a brief, your experience that how did you get infected and how was the whole journey?
Thank you for inviting me. So, as my lungs were already weak from a few bouts of pneumonia that I had in the past 5 years, I knew that my immune system was already compromised. So, in around end of January, when people were talking about COVID, I knew that I had to be more careful because my possibility of contracting COVID is higher than others. So I started working from home back in February 1st, and I never went out. My grocery was being dropped off by a friend, and I never even, he would bring it and drop it by my door. I got food delivered. So the only times I went out would be to go to a hospital, to go to my doctor, and I use the common laundry room in my apartment complex, or I use the elevator, of course. So in my case, it had to be a community spread. So I got it through using the common space. I started feeling the symptoms at the beginning of April. And as I had previous health issues, so in the beginning, I was a little confused whether it was a continuation of my other health issues or if it was something else. But I started having quite high fever. It ranged from like 101 to 103. And then I started having the other symptoms, cough and runny nose, and I had sore throats. But then I started like all of a sudden I started realizing that I had no sense of smell. I could not smell anything. I lost my I could not taste my foods anymore, and I could not eat. So finally, when for about 10 days straight I could not eat anything, I knew something was wrong. And after that, I could not even hold down anything liquid, no juice, even water I couldn't hold down. So I became very, very weak at that point. And my brother was, he lives in California. So he also called and he got very, very worried. So he said, okay, either you call 911 or I'm going to call it from here. So I said, okay, you don't have to call. I'm going to call. So I called 911. And so the paramedics came. And by that time, I was very dehydrated and I was very weak. So they came, they took me to the hospital, and as at the triage, they did the initial assessment, and right away they took me, they did the test for COVID, and they told me that they were suspecting a COVID and a pneumonia that was caused by the COVID itself. So then they ran all the tests and CT scan and X-ray and everything. And then after 24 hours, they confirmed that it was indeed COVID and pneumonia. And then they took me to the ICU where they gave me blood transfusion because I was bleeding internally. And what they did not tell me at that point, which I realized afterwards, is that my body had turned septic. So later I found out if, like for most people, COVID, you get contracted. If your body has the ability to fight it off, you have it for 2 weeks and then you suffer and then you start to get better. But for some people, if your body is unable to fight it, and then at one point after the 2 weeks are done, then your body may turn septic, and at that point your organs start failing and you may die within 12 to 24 hours if there is no intervention. So thankfully, the doctors realized that, and then after, I believe, within 36 hours or 48 hours of my being in the ICU, they told us that they have to ventilate me. So they put me in ventilation and induced me to medically induced coma, where they kept me for 6 days, and that stopped the COVID from damaging all my other organs. So the only damage I suffered was my pancreas. So now I have diabetes, which I never had before, and my right leg got paralyzed from below my knee, which the doctors are saying is temporary. So I had to stay in the hospital for two more weeks.
Shumu, we understand that you have gone through a lot. So could you please tell us that what kind of services you receive from the hospital or doctors or nurses?
I have to say that in spite of the epidemic being so overwhelming, like, for example, when I was at the ICU, they had 11 COVID positive patients at the ICU. In spite of that, I have to say that the support and the treatment that I got was extraordinary. The doctors and the nurses were amazing. Even when I could not do anything by myself, they did everything right. They even went out of their way to make sure that I had communication with my family through FaceTime. And even when they had to ask for the decision of putting me in the ventilator, they could have just done it by phone, like just in a very matter-of-fact way. But instead of doing that, they made sure that I had communication with my family via FaceTime, with all my family, not just the contact person. And they did that sort of things. And at one point, like, I couldn't even feed myself, or I couldn't even go to the washroom by myself. So they took care of all that. And even when they brought me down from the ICU, they would like, sometimes there would be 3 nurses for an entire unit, and they would have to do every little thing for all of these patients individually. And they would have to wear those PPEs to protect themselves in like when it's very hot, and they would be sweating, but they would continue to do that because they would come in and out, and like sometimes they would not even have time for their lunch or dinner, and they would still continue to serve us. So I would have to say they were simply extraordinary. And I don't know how they managed it. It was excellent.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, and if any of our doctors or nurses, if you are watching or if you watch later, please be aware of that we are very grateful to you. As Shimu said, that we are really, really very grateful to you for your extraordinary services that you are providing across the world. You are, giving us, you're showing your amazing, commitment to the humanity. Thank you very, very much, dear doctors and nurses and all frontline health workers. Shumu, I think just last few seconds, if you just give us any tips for our, audience or whoever is thinking that he or she may get infected in future or can protect themselves, avoiding any, infection from the COVID-19. Do you have any specific tips?
Yes. So as the COVID the strain it's mutating itself very rapidly. So from one patient to the next, the symptoms are changing. For example, in the beginning, it was just the fever and the cough, and now you're seeing all kinds of different things. Now you're hearing more and more about the paralysis. Now you're seeing this symptom in children where their feet are turning red, and even children are getting affected more and more. So sometimes you're hearing about COVID attacking hearts and not just the lungs. So it's very hard to tell like whether or not you're getting contracted by COVID. So any little difficulty or anytime you're feeling unwell, I would say be mindful of how you're feeling, and if you even suspect slightly that you might have it, just be careful. Just isolate yourself, and then contact your family physician, or here you can contact Telehealth Ontario. If you are from another country, I guess you can contact your local health services and just seek advice. Don't wait for 2 weeks like I did. If I had to do it over again, I would not wait for 2 weeks. That would have saved me a lot of suffering if I went and took help earlier. I would also say, because of the type of the pandemic we're seeing, a lot of information is out there, and it's important that you vet the source of the information before you share it with others. So be mindful of that the information is valid, and be safe, and that's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Shumu, joining with us. And we really appreciate that, despite all these difficulties and, experience you have gone through a challenging and difficult time. Despite all these things, you have joined us today online and you have shared your experience. So we wish you all the best, and we hope that you will recover fully very soon. So